Do have olive to your skin and you are on the hunt for the best bronzers, contours, and blush shades? Well, I am here to help you, hopefully. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be going through my favorite blush, bronzer, and contour shades for my neutral olive skin tone. Now I am a light medium neutral olive, so keep that in mind as well. I'm going to swatch all these on my hand and arm for you so that you can see what they look like. There's a lot to go through. Let me show you. So let's just jump right into it because I'm excited. Maybe it makes sense to talk about why it's so difficult to find the best bronzer, contour, and blush shades for someone with an olive skin tone. A lot of bronzers pull way too warm. A lot of contours still pull way too warm, orange leaning. Blush shades also can lean a little bit too warm, too peachy a lot of the time, even if they're supposed to be pink or mauve or whatever it may be, they still end up leaning peachy and warm. And pink, if they're too cool, they tend to sit on top of the skin and look a little bit separate from your skin, I've noticed for myself. So this is why when it comes to blush specifically, sort of muted down blushes look really great on us. We'll get into blushes for sure. It's probably the biggest category here is blushes, but I do want to start with contours because contours are something that I've kind of narrowed down out of the ones I've tried to the ones I perceive to be the best. Now, I'm very picky with contours and bronzers specifically. I'm a little picky with blush too, but I'm a little bit more lenient in that category. Contours and bronzers, I'm not too lenient. So let's get right into it. I'll start with the liquid versions because there are two liquids here that I found work the best. We have the Rare Beauty in the shade Mellow. I'm gonna put this one right here. This is Rare Beauty in Mellow. Now, when this is blended out, it looks absolutely beautiful. And it blends super easy, very seamless, very easy to work with, and it's a really great shade for my skin. Next up for liquid contour, we have e.l.f. in the shade Fair. This is the e.l.f. Camo Liquid Bronzer and Contour, but this is in the shade Fair, and I like to use this as contour. Put this one right next to it. You'll see that this one is very, very cool toned in comparison to that first one. This one is a true contour on me. This is a really great option. Now moving into the creams. Cream contour is my preferred type of contour. So the three that I show you are my most used and my favorite. We'll start with CoverGirl Skin Enhancer in the shade Sculpted. I love this. I'm gonna put this right here. This is a fabulous shade. It blends really beautifully. It's an affordable option if you're on the hunt for more of an affordable contour. That is shade Sculpted from CoverGirl. Then from Iconic London, this is their Shape and Shade Sculpting Stick in the shade Sketch. A lot of S's there. A lot of the times I do contour instead of bronze. I leave out bronzer entirely. Contour just works so well for my skin. This is shade Sketch from Iconic London. And then finally, probably my most used contour, a fan favorite. I'm sure if you're watching this, you probably may have already used this, or you use it, or you've heard about it, because it is really, really popular. And I believe it's for a good reason. I've been using this for years at this point. This is the Westman Atelier Face Trace Stick in the shade Biscuit. Now this is just phenomenal. You'll actually see that this pulls a teeny bit warmer than the last one I swatched. This one I put all over the face. So I use this as contour. It sculpts my face quite nicely, but I also use it on the forehead as a bronzer. So these have been really wonderful. We have CoverGirl, Iconic London, and Westman. Closer look for you. Great options. Now for bronzer, probably one of the hardest categories I think for someone with an olive skin tone because you want to warm yourself up, right? You want to look bronze, you want to look sun-kissed, you want to look like the warmth has hit your face, but you don't want to look orange. And bronzers are inherently warm. These are the bronzers that warm up my skin quite nicely without turning me into an orange. So I have mostly cream options. I have one liquid and then I have two powder. Very picky with powder bronzer. Don't use many at all. There are only two. So let's get right into it. I'm going to start with the Milani Cheek Kiss Bronzer in the shade Hey Honey. I think this is a great shade for olive. Swatch this one right here for you. I've heard some people say this has a green cast, and I don't really get that, but that might be because I have olive to me. I think this works absolutely phenomenal. Fabulous formula. Best cream bronzer at the drugstore by far. Then we have the Morphe Cheek Thrills Duo. This one's in the shade Maui Surf. I would say out of all the shades that they came out with, this one is the best for our skin tone. So this is Maui Surf right here. This is definitely a more sheer formula. It's dewier as well. It has this sort of balmy, dewy texture. Then one of my favorites is the Westman Atelier Suntone Bronzing Creme in Soleil Parfait 1. You get two shades. You get a lighter shade and then you get a little bit of a deeper shade. Both shades work great. This one is a little bit less warm, so I do tend to reach for this one quite often, but even the deeper shade doesn't pull overly warm. And this has a cream to powder finish. You'll see right here, that is the lighter shade. I'll switch the darker shades here just for reference. The darker shade is right next to it. But these have a cream to powder finish, so they're going to apply like a cream, set down like a powder. They have this sort of moussey texture. I don't know if you can see here. You can see this sort of moussey, creamy texture, but they do set down quite nicely, and they look phenomenal on the skin. Next, we have the Merit Bronze Bomb. This one's in the shade Sane. Sane? I'm not exactly entirely sure how to pronounce it. I'll put this one down here, right at the bottom. This one's probably the warmest of the bunch, but once this is blended out, it's quite sheer, so you really don't get too much of that warmth. It does blend out quite nicely. Another one that is sheer and dewy and balmy, and it's going to be very skin-like. Then we have the Westman Atelier Suntone Bronzing Drops in Soleil Parfait 2. Now, these sheer out again quite nicely. They are a bronzing drop, so they're very liquidy, they're easy to work with, but they kind of just melt right into the skin. They don't sit on top of the skin. Right here, you can see it's down here. Again, oh, that was a horrible swatch. I'm gonna shear this out just so you can see the sort of finish that it gives. So while it does look warm on first application, it blends out really beautifully. And finally, we have the Rituel de Fille Inner Glow Cream Pigment in the shade Eros. I adore this. I adore this. I adore this. I adore this brand as a whole. I have a lot of blush options from them too. This one I'm gonna put down here. I feel like all of their products are really great and suited for cool tone skin, but they're also very olive friendly. This one in the shade Eros is fantastic. I like a lot of the time bronzing with this, but also kind of pushing it into that blush area and using it sort of as a duo. Very pretty. Then I'm going to show you the two powder bronzer options that I like. There are only two because, again, very picky. My favorite, the Soft Touch Bronzer by Essence. This one is in the shade Whipped Buttercup. Absolutely my favorite. I love this formula. It's a true powder formula. I don't even know if it's going to pick it up, but it looks really great on the skin. This is their lightest shade, I believe. The next shade up is just a little bit too warm for me, so I've been loving this one very, very much. And then the Milani Baked Bronzer in the shade Tuscan Tan. And you'll see this is Tuscan Tan. Oh, it looks so good. Those are the only two bronzers, powder bronzers I really reach for, so. And then lastly for the bronzer contour category are two products that kind of sit in the middle of a bronzer and a contour, so I did want to include them because they're more of like a brontour, I guess you can say. The Say Dew Bronze in the shade Salt. This is exactly in the middle of a bronzer and a contour for me. This is a beautiful shade, but you see how it has a little bit of that warmth, a little bit of that coolness. And then we have the Glossier Cloud Paint in the shade Swept. And this is Swept right next to it. Now are we ready for the fun part? Are we ready for the blush? I'm gonna break this out into liquid blush and then cream blush and then powder blush. So I think that's probably the best way to do this. Let's get into the liquid blush first. I only have a few options because I am more of a cream gal when it comes to blush. I have two from e.l.f. These are their camo liquid blushes. We have Bold Face Lilac and Suave Mauve. This one I obviously reach for quite often because it is one of those mauve tone blushes. Swatch this one right here. So that is Suave Mauve by e.l.f. And then we have Bold Face Lilac. Now, what I do with this is I mix it with the mauve shade, and it looks quite pretty. So that is Lilac right next to it. And then lastly for liquid, one of my favorite blushes I've discovered, or actually one of you told me about this over on TikTok, I believe, and I have not been able to put it down. This is the shade Encourage from Rare Beauty. This is so good for her skin tone. So very good. Right here at the end. It is perfect. It is absolutely perfect. It is so beautiful. Cannot say enough good things about that. This will last you forever. You only need a dot. We know how Rare Beauty blush goes. Those were my liquid blush options. Now cream blush is a larger category. Sit tight. We're going to start with my Westman Atelier blushes because this is my favorite formula. I think it's so good. It's long lasting. The shades are phenomenal. You just can't go wrong. You can't go wrong with a Westman blush. I know they're expensive, I know, but really they're so, so worth it, you guys. I'm going to start with Mimi. which is more of a pinky beige shade. This is Mimi. This one right at the end. She's perfect. If you want sort of an everyday neutral blush, this is me. This is the best. I do believe this is a Westman Atelier site exclusive shade, which is unfortunate because I do wish they sold it at Sephora, but I don't think they do. Let's hope they bring it there soon because it really is so good. And this next shade from Westman is a fan favorite. The olive community does really rave about this blush, and it's true. It's very, very good. This is shade Garçon. I mean, it's described, I believe, as a just pinched mauve. And wow. One of my more used blushes for sure. It's very, very pretty. And then lastly, if you want to have some fun, get out of your comfort zone, because even if you have olive skin, while the muted tones are the best, you can still branch out a little bit and have some fun with color. And this is one of those shades that did that for me. This is shade Bichette. Now this is described as a red berry. It is so beautiful. On first application, you might think, yeah, that's a little vibrant. And you're right, but it blends out to this beautiful red berry shade. In the summertime, especially right now, I'm telling you guys, it's phenomenal. If you're similar to my skin tone, it's so good. So those are all the Westman Atelier blushes that I love. We're going to move into the Rituel de Fille because, again, as I mentioned earlier, this brand is very cool tone, olive tone friendly. I love their brand. I love their brand. I'm going to show you my most used blush shade. This is the shade Moth. This is their Color Nectar Pigment Balm. Look at this shade, okay? Just look at it. Look at it. Appreciate it. It's so good. And what I really like about these is that they're multifunctional. You can use them eyes, lips, cheeks. They are phenomenal. The swatch isn't even going to do it justice, I can assure you. Even though the swatch is really pretty. The swatch isn't even going to do the shade justice. It's great. You know what I really want to try? I want to try Phytosurgeons, shade Wisp, and there's another shade I wanted to try from them. They look like they have really good olive tone blushes. Then we have shade Ghost Flower. This one's a little bit more of a rosy shade right next to it. And lastly, we have Glasswing. If you like berry blushes, this is a really, really beautiful shade. It looks really deeper, but it's sheer. You can sheer it out quite nicely, but it kind of has that glass finish, if you can see that. I think berry blushes are really great on olive skin. I'm wearing berry blush right now. I love berry blush. So these are the Rituel de Fille shades. Really great. Highly recommend checking them out if you haven't. Let's go to Merit Beauty because there are two shades that I think are great for us. Shade Bespoke, which I'm sure you might have probably heard about this shade. This is Bespoke. This is another formula that is super sheer. I use this a lot on my more no makeup days. And then we have shade Archival, which is more of a cooler pink shade right next to it. I have two shades from Rhode. Now, I'm going to tell you that Sleepy Girl was one of the most recommended shades for olive. This still does lean, it's described as a mauve, but it still does lean a little bit warm, not overly warm. I still wear it all the time. I think it's a really great blush, but it's not like a true mauve. I feel like it's hard to find a true mauve. This is Sleepy Girl. It is quite pretty. Definitely does pull a teeny bit warm on me. Then, as I said earlier, we can have fun with color, okay? Let's have fun with color. Shade Spicy Marg. Yeah, you would think this is just super vibrant. It's much more vibrant in person than it's picking up on camera. It is a coral shade. Very pretty. And then I have a few stragglers from brands that I really like. We have the berry shades that I love. I'm wearing this one right now. We have Cozy from First, which is what I'm wearing on the cheeks right now, actually. Swatch this one right at the end over here. This is more of like a brown berry. And these blend out so beautifully, you guys. They give you this skin-like finish. They wear really well. This is such a good sort of skincare infused blush. It is so very good. And we have the House Labs Glassy Acai blush. This is the shade Glassy Acai. This one is more of a cool toned berry, like a true cool toned berry down here. You do need a light hand with this one. I will say it's pigmented, but it shears out into that very glass-like finish. Now, I don't know if they make this anymore, so I'm hesitant to show it. If they do, I'm going to show it. This is the Mendhi Moment blush from Kulfi, but in the shade Sandalwood Swirls. Pretty spiced shade. I don't know how else to describe it. It's like a spiced mauve. I don't even know. It's good, you guys. It's right at the bottom. It is so good. If this is still available, highly recommend checking out this shade. It is fantastic. And lastly, for blush, before we get to the powder, we are going to do Patrick Ta, because I do think Patrick Ta has quite a few shades that are really great for olive skin. My most used, as you can tell, is probably She's Seductive, if you cannot tell. This one is really good sort of beigey pink shade. It is so good. It's one of those shades that goes with every makeup look, which is why I like it so very much. And similarly, we have Not Too Much from Patrick Ta right next to it. It's just a little bit more pink and less beige. She Goes to the Gym is a mauve, and it looks really, really, really beautiful on our skin. It pulls a little bit like a deeper mauve, honestly, but it's fantastic. Then we have She's Flushed. Now, this is a peachy pink, but the amount of compliments I've received on my blush when I wear this shade, it's peachy, but it doesn't pull too warm peachy. It's a really pretty sort of peachy pink. This one right at the bottom here. And then lastly, one of the few sort of babier pink blushes that work on me, because truly I can't really wear a baby pink blush. I think it kind of looks separate from my face, if that makes sense, is Out of Office from Patrick Ta. Now, I do think this was limited edition. I don't know if it's available anymore. I do hope it is, just so I don't recommend it and then, you know what I mean? So here, you can barely see it, but it is a really pretty sort of soft pink shade for us. Okay, now we can jump into powder blush. So I do have a few powder blush options. Honestly, not too many, because when it comes to powder blush, I feel like I've had a hard time trying to find a true mauve. Like a true everyday mauve, I've had a hard time finding. The closest thing I found so far. We'll start with the Kosas in Euphoria. For that reason alone, this is a cool pinky mauve, and it is so pretty. This is a baked formula. This is Euphoria right here. They also just came out with a multi-stick that I want to try. The shades look nice. I think that there are two that might be good for my skin tone. Then we have the Rare Beauty Bouncy Blush in the shade Hope. Put this one right next to it. These have a bouncy texture, but they apply like a powder. So that is shade Hope. And then we have the shade Ciao Bella from Milani. This is their baked blush formula. I'm actually wearing this over top of the Versed Cream Berry Blush. This is shade Ciao Bella right at the end. And then the last three are two from Sochi Beauty and one from Pat McGrath. The two from Sochi Beauty, these are their blurring pillow blushes. We have the shade Speakeasy. Another one of those sort of bouncy blush textures that apply like a powder. I love this formula. I love the formulas that feel like bouncy and then apply really soft and matte and blurred. That is shade Speakeasy. And then one of their newer shades is Bare Muse. This is a true sort of beigey bare shade. This one is right next to it. You'll see it's very much a true beige blush. I really do like this one. I do feel like this one is has a little bit of a hard time showing up on my skin for some reason. I think that I have to build it up quite intensely for it to show up, maybe because it's so similar to my skin tone, probably. And lastly, I don't even know if they make this anymore. This is from Pat McGrath. This is in the shade Flirtatious. This was one of my most used powder blushes of all time. I stopped using it. I don't know why. It's so good. It's one of those sort of barely there shades. I don't even know if this is going to show up on camera. It's like one of those barely there blush shades. Can you see that? Yeah. This was a really nice topper to pretty much any blush or any makeup look I wanted to put on. I think that covers all the blush, all the bronzers, all the contours that I wanted to talk about. When it comes to blush, those sort of muted down tones are really great. Soft pinky browns, mauves are the best. But if you want to have some fun with color, try the more corally shades, try the more red berry shades. I think those are really great. Work with a light hand, build them up as needed. And then when it comes to bronzer, try opting for a bronzer that has more of a neutral leaning sort of tone to it. Bronzers are always going to inherently be a little bit warmer because they are bronzers. They're supposed to mimic a sort of sun-kissed effect, so they are always going to be a little bit warmer, but there are ways to find neutral leaning bronzers that still work really great for us. So I do hope some of the options I provided are helpful if you look into them. And then for contours, cool tone contours, neutral cool tone contour. So I do hope all of these options were helpful. If you have any questions at all, let me know. If you have a favorite bronzer or contour or blush that you think is really great for our skin, let me know in the comments. Like, I'm always open to trying them, especially when it comes to powder bronzer and powder blush. Especially powder bronzer, I feel like it's hard for me to find a powder bronzer that doesn't pull too warm, which is why I only showed you 2 options. But yeah, I do hope this was helpful. Let me know what you want to see next. Give me some video ideas. What do you want to see, right? I want my channel to be helpful for you. I want it to be fun. I want it to be informative. I want it to be just sort of like a collaboration here. Let me know what you want to see. If you want to see another makeup tutorial, I could do that. I probably will do another makeup tutorial because I'm a makeup tutorial gal through and through. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for hanging out with me. If this video is super long, thanks for sticking till the end, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.